Good morning, it's Jonathan Barrett with the Week Ahead report. That's beginning Monday the 7th of February. Okay, quite interesting. This week it's going to be an interesting week, particularly in Australia because we do have the unemployment numbers, but we'll talk a little bit about those a little bit later. Not a lot of data in America this week. A lot of confidence numbers coming out. A bit of data in Japan. But I guess if anything, we've taken lead from last week. See how the economy's moved with the unemployment numbers which came through last week. Particularly in the US, and hopefully that'll give us some little bit of a lead as to what's happening. As we know, the Dow closed up, and let's just get us a little bit of a re-look at what actually happened last night in the States, or on Friday night, and you get a bit of an idea as to exactly what's occurred there. Just a quick snapshot there. The Dow, just moving across here now, move that around a bit, there we go. Right, the Dow closed up 29 points at 12,092. The S&P was up 3 and the Nasdaq was up 15. Obviously concerns in Greek still weighed on what was happening in Europe, but we seem to have had a positive close. The top 50 was up 7.7, the FTSE was up 14, the CAC was up 10 as you can see, and the DAX was up 22. The local market, let's just grab that there, move that across there. The local market, local futures, where are you local futures? I'll just try and get that, the local futures, let's see what comes up there. On the local market, where do we close? Oh, I can't actually see that. Oh, there we are. Closed up 8 at 4,852. That breakthrough 48.20 there is quite positive, as you can see. Okay, so let's have a look at just generally what's occurred, and we'll move that out of the way. Okay, dollar index slightly up again, continuing to firm, which is relatively positive. That's something which we have been looking at for some time, and a little bit of a bounce there is quite nice. Probably look at this to be a head and shoulders type of formation. Top side 78.50. Expected to test that level and then probably come out under pressure from there a little while longer. Crude in itself basically came under pressure again, and I think if anything there, just because it has come a little bit lower, I guess expectations are that, it's just coming up now, that it will continue to go lower. Obviously the unemployment data in the States was a bit of a key there, and you know, if anything there, that's one of the reasons why we actually saw crude come off, because purely I think the market was looking for a little bit more in terms of those jobless rates, which I think is quite encouraging. Okay, righty-ho, as I said, we saw a surprising drop in jobless rates to the slowest level in 21 months. But I guess the fact is that the market was looking for an increase of about 100-odd thousand workers, only got 36, so that was a concern. On the back of that, we obviously saw crude drop down quite aggressively, concluding those ranges and what we're in. So top side remains 92 on the top, and the downside there, well, as you can see, it can trade all the way down to 85 and still be relatively comfortable. Let's just see what happens in Greece concerning that, because I think what's happening, sorry, not in Greece, in Egypt. So that what's happening in Egypt will help determine what's happening to crude. Okay, we mentioned the crude, we mentioned copper in itself, 459.20, still relatively strong. Gold, quite interesting, 1348.4, and if anything there, got some bad data there. Thank you very much for coming. Let's just get on the daily chart there. I'll move that around. Obviously 1348 is where gold is actually trading. Silver 29.13. The Aussie battler there 101.15, still quite firm. The euro 135.41, and of course the dollar yen 82.24. That's has had quite a bit of a lift to that top side. And let's just go to gold here. The chart's finally updated. And as you can see, still a little bit of a lift there in the gold price. So I would not be surprised to see that continue for some time. We're still bullish on that front. Okay, now looking at some of the other softs in particular, how did they actually close on the weekend? Had a bit of movement there. I guess the key there, corn was up 2.42%, cotton was down 2.3%, wheat was down 0.61%, sugar was up 1.87%, so a little bit of a mixed bag. Soybeans there were down 0.14%. So quite a mixed bag in terms of what's happening in terms of the soft side, and obviously we're looking for a little bit more lead as to what occurs here. Okay, now let's have a look at the most important with the war report. What are the numbers coming out this week? And as I mentioned, there doesn't seem to be a lot of data coming out that's going to do some moving and shaking. So that's in America. In Australia, yes, we do have the unemployment rate coming out on Thursday. But just to start with, today we've got the ANZ job advertisements and retail sales, obviously widely watched there. A little bit of data out of Japan, obviously M3 and some trade balance there, trade data there, so all that's quite important. When you look at Tuesday, in Australia, not a lot there, but in the States we've got the IPD TIP economic optimism numbers, and a little bit of talking from Fed, also the ABC consumer confidence data. Wednesday, a little bit quiet there, a little bit in Japan, which is important. And also we've got Bernanke testifies on the House budgets, so that could provide us with some insight. Thursday's big for Australia, employment change and unemployment rates. Tipped to stay around about that 5%. Let's see, we expect to see a bit of a build in the employment, up by 20,000. A little bit of data in Europe, industrial production, which will be widely watched across the board in Europe. In the States, initial jobless claims, wholesale inventories, but also Fed Lockhart speaks on a panel on debt, which I think would be quite an interesting one to actually see. Coming on a Friday, not a lot there as you can see. Trade balance obviously very important, but in the University of Michigan confidence number, but not a lot out from there in terms of that data. So I guess if anything, the week we're going to have is going to be pretty much, I think, range bound, unless something overspills in what's happening with Egypt. But at the moment, I think we're range bound for oil. Gold might see a little bit of a lift. Copper up the top side. So we haven't got a lot of data out there. So if anything, a bit of a range bound week, which is quite good. Gives us a little bit of focus. We probably might get a lift from the equity markets, and because we saw that break above that 48.20 level, might see that continue to trend up a little bit higher. But that's about it from me. I hope everyone has a great day and a great week, and we'll certainly talk to you later.